Yar! Hello, everyone!
I can't keep that voice up. My name is Liz Million and I am a children's book illustrator and author. Welcome to our Fish and Chips Festival draw along with Whitby Library. Now, I am super excited because this is one of my favourite things to draw. Pirates, fish, and maybe not ships, because ships are really tricky to do. I'm going to show you some things that I've got here, and then we're going to start drawing. So you will need a pencil and plenty of paper and even some colours if you've got them. Now, I love the seaside. I love the nautical theme. As you can see, I am well up for dressing up like a pirate. I haven't got my big black curly wig today because I'm a little bit hot. I've got a beautiful card to show you here. First of all, now I bought this in Vietnam when I first visited. Have a look inside. It's totally magical. Look at that. Now I know hundreds of years ago these ships would have been sailing into Whitby, and we all know about the Dracula story and that famous boat scene, but we are going to be looking at drawing some magical characters today. So we might be drawing a mermaid, we are definitely going to be drawing a pirate, but I think we're probably going to start off with something a little bit easy. Now, I have been an illustrator for 24 years. I love drawing and I find it quite easy. So today, if you find that you might go wrong a little bit or you can't get it right, your brain has never drawn the things we are going to draw today. So you have to be kind to your brain. It takes it a few goes to get things right. It's like riding a bike or learning to swim or singing a song really well. You have to put the practice in. So girls and boys, get your pencils. We are gonna start drawing. Now, I did tell you we were going to be drawing sea creatures, so I thought I'd put on my lovely squid hat. Now, this makes me happy. I love silly things, and the good thing about a festival is they're always lively, there's loads of stuff going on, and definitely there's a lot going on with this hat. I can't draw in this hat, I don't think, so I'm just going to very carefully take this off, and this is a lot better for me. I can't concentrate with things on my hands and things on my head. So have a look here. This is going to be our shark, and you're probably thinking, oh, that doesn't look like a shark, but it won't do yet. We're starting with a shape. So this is going to be our first drawing, and if you have a look here, it looks like the eye of Horus, you know, the eye, the Egyptian eye, or a leaf. Now I've left a bit of room here for his tail, and you can work landscape. Now, I can't turn my board around, so I'm just going to do portrait, but you'll get a good idea of if you want to do it that way or not. So there we go. So you draw that. You can always pause the video and get going. Now, I am going to be using my pens. I'm also going to be using my crayons. Now, you can use felt tips, whatever you like. So the first thing we're going to do an evil shark. And our shark is going to have eyes, and they're going to be looking down. There we go. Now, I loved doing my tool ships book for Sunderland Library. You can see I am very good at drawing boats and ships and things. Can you see those pictures there? So I can draw ships, but it's quite a tricky thing to do on a tutorial. But have a look here, the superstitions. If you saw a shark, that is bad luck, especially if one was swimming towards you. They also thought bananas were bad luck. How can bananas be bad luck? I love bananas. Also, ghosts, that's obviously a bad sign. Whistling is a bad sign, but also black cats and dolphins. So they were a very suspicious lot, these sailors. And we're going to put a smiley mouth on. Now, he looks like a lovely little fish, but he's not going to be. He's going to have sort of banana-y mouth, and it's all about the eyebrows. Okay, so I'm going to do some sharp teeth. Now he's starting to look a little bit more evil, and with my pencil or my crayon I would put some shadow under there. Oh my word. Now I am terrified of sharks, but I'm also fascinated by them. I just love watching nature programs about all different animals, but sharks, I've got to have my feet up when I watch it on the settee. Now he's got a little nostril there, still not looking too evil. So I'm going to get my big pen and I'm going to do a V eyebrow. Now that is a scary eyebrow. You do not talk to your grown-up if they have got an eyebrow like that and a mouth like that. Come here. You're like, no. So this naughty looking shark is looking very evil. He has got a fin, obviously, and he has got 2 more fins here. Now we are obviously just doing a cartoony one today. We're not doing anything too realistic, because drawing realistically on a video is quite a hard thing to do. Okay, so we've got 2 fins, 1, 2, and 1 at the top. And you can easily rub yours out and start again. You can do whatever you like. These are your pictures. If you want to put eyelashes on, you can do. Now I've got my crayon here and I am just putting a bit of dark on. Now I can't rub that out because I did it with a crayon, but you guys can if you want. And our shark, because he is a fish, and this is the Fish and Chips Festival, we are going to draw some gills. So he doesn't have a blowhole like a dolphin. And he's got a lovely little rosy cheek. Now, how easy was that? Was that okay? I think that was quite easy to do. And if I saw you and I said, right, draw that picture, you might be like, what? But because we started with a weird shape, like a leaf or an eye, I think it works out quite well. Now I'm going to put some little bubbles up here. And I'm going to put some little lines here. Now don't put bubbles near his bum. It looks like he's going to go, I don't think fish park, but anyway, we don't want to make it look like he's parping. So this is a very nasty looking shark. Now, the next one we are going to do, the next sea creature, I'm going to get my piece of paper. Now, we are going to draw a carrot. It's like a fat carrot. It's actually a teardrop on its side like that. Now when I draw like this, I think of an easy shape for you to copy. Okay, so you can always pause the video, the film, and you can have a little practice if you want. Now we're going to do a little cute fish. You can draw it on here, underneath here like that. Now I'm going to make my fish a bit bigger just so you can see. You could do a really teeny tiny one if you like. You could do loads of different types of fish, can't you? Now the pirates and the sailors used to obviously have long nets and they used to fish for their supper because sometimes they ran out of food. That is terrifying, isn't it? Now our little fish has got big eyes. I'm going to do a 3 backwards for a mouth, but look, he's not happy. He's like, oh. I'm going to put a little fin on the top. And again, we're not doing realistic pictures. So I'm going to put some little lines on here. And our little fish's fins are like little flippers, a bit like Nemo. And I can't rub that out. So what I'm going to do is put some little lines on like that. I think I'm going to put some little eyelashes on just to make him look cute. Don't eat me. And we're going to put a tail on. Now you can do a normal tail. I quite like doing a sort of frilly floaty tail like that. Okay, now once I've done that, I go round it with my pen. Now we've got all different ages drawing along to this video, so I don't want to make it too hard, but I know you guys sometimes like a challenge, so we're having a little go at doing 2 very different types of fish. Now I've got an orange here, like some of your goldfishes at home, but I'm not going to do all of it orange. I'm just going to put a little bit of it orange. Then I'm going to get my black, put some shadow on. Okay, so you're thinking about where your light and dark is coming from. And I might even put some little golden eyes in there. Now I normally do golden eyes when I'm drawing dragons or T-Rexes, but I think they look quite nice. And then I'm going to get a red and start to put some scales on. Now I think you can tell these are some of my favourite things to draw, because they're my favourite things to draw. I draw them all the time. And that means that my brain is really confident. Now if I had to draw a fish on a bicycle, that would probably make me think, oh no, that is really hard, because they haven't got legs for a start. So I'm going to put a bit of purple on. You guys can use any colour you like. I might even try some little purple lips. Ooh, I think that looks a bit weird. So I'm going to get my pink and go over it like this. There we are. Now we're going to be having a look at doing backgrounds later on. But look, if I wanted to put a little background on, I'm going to get like an orangey colour here. And we could do all sorts of beautiful corals. Now I know this is not on the coast of Whitby, these sorts of corals, but you know, sailors and pirates, they travelled all over the world, especially our amazing Captain Cook and all the explorers. They travelled around the world finding new places. Now I think that was quite easy to do, but I am a lot older than you. How did you do with that picture? Was it easy, hard, or okay? How about the person that is drawing along with you? Maybe you're drawing on your own, maybe you're drawing with someone else. Have a look at their picture. Did they do a good job? You do with those sea creatures? Now I did tell you they were some of my favourite things to draw, so my brain found that quite easy. Now drawing humans is not as easy, as you know. What we're going to do now, we're going to have a go at drawing a young pirate, so someone who isn't full of hair and stinky. We're going to do a sort of friendly-ish pirate, and then we're going to finish with a big scary pirate later. But have a little look. This picture here is a beautiful background that I did with watercolours and inks, and you can definitely see, look, there's our pirate ship in the background. So I'm going to show you how to do a character, and then we're going to build a background for it. So again, grab your pencils, because we're going to do another piratey character. Go. We're going to start with a potato, and as I said, I don't want us to do a big stinky one yet. We want to do a nice sort of young cabin boy or a cabin girl. So I have got enough room here for a hat, because obviously we might want to put a hat on them, and the captains probably had the big old hats, but we can draw a hat on our character. And I've got plenty of room here for their body as well. So this potato is a really good shape. Now first things first, we are going to draw a pair of ears on like this, and we're doing a full body on this one, and we're going to do earrings. If you want to do one earring or two, it's up to you. And I'm going to do a curly cut for a nose. Now I'm just going to put a bit of colour on as we go along, and their skin would have been quite brown because they didn't have sun cream in the olden days. Now we're going to do a character smiling, and he's just found some treasure, so he's going to be really ecstatic. Woohoo! And I'm just going to put some rosy cheeks on. Now this could be absolutely anyone. So what we do, we look at our typical sort of piratey information we have in our heads. So we're going to put some really excited eyes looking down. We could have put an eye patch on, but I think I want to keep him looking quite nice. Okay, so if you want to make your character look younger, you can put a few freckles on. And children did work on board, but they were normally quite sort of teenagery kind of age, because they used to be quite helpful. They were quite helpful getting in small spaces and climbing rigging and things like that. So we're going to draw a very simple body here. And I used to wear quite floaty clothes because it was easier to dry. And I'm just going to do two lines coming down here. So he's got like a simple jacket. He wouldn't have a fancy coat. But we could put a couple of buttons on either side like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put like a little black waistcoat on like I've got. And I might even put some stripes on. Now, in real life, he wouldn't have bright, colourful clothes. He'd wear very simple clothes. Now, I'm going to put an arm on. So we've got one arm like that. It looks a bit like that shark fin we drew, didn't it? And I'm going to put a sleeve on here. And I'm just going to show you how to draw the other arm going up. Now, arms always go wrong, okay? They go wrong because you know what they're meant to look like. So if you ever want to know how to hold a character with a sword, you look at what your thumb looks like, okay? So your thumb is coming over your sausagey hands. So we're going to draw a thumb and 4 sausages behind. Now that is an awfully tricky thing to draw, and you could draw him with a map in his hand. If he wasn't a sort of scary sailor or pirate, could do a nice map with the bottom coming out because he has found the treasure. You could do, he could actually have a little parrot on there, couldn't he? Ah! That'd be quite nice. I thought a bit random. You could also draw, now they had special swords called cutlasses that are quite tricky to draw. Should we have a go at doing a cutlass? Yeah, we could even have a spade if he's just found some treasure. So I'm going to come over here like a sort of banana or a sausage. I'm going to put some little swirls on there and a bit underneath. Now this might be a bit tricky to draw. Take your time, and if I was doing it in pencil, I would draw it really lightly. So just to show you, it's going to be this sort of shape. If you want to just draw a normal dagger or a normal sword, you can do. But if I was doing this for a storybook, I would have to research what a cutlass actually looked like and how long it was. I'm going to put a little thumbnail on there like that. So we've actually got away without drawing that hand, haven't we? Okay, so back to his head. If you want to do a girl, put eyelashes on. I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put a little bandana on. So just like mine, I'm going to give him bandana. And I'm going to put a bit of colour on there. And it could be any colour really, but red is quite sort of a piratey, sailory kind of colour, isn't it? Okay. And then you could always put a little hat on, or you could just leave it. So I think if you wanted to put a hat on, I would practice what that hat would look like. So we might not have a big hat. I think he needs a hat, doesn't he? But we're going to put little side bits up, and then you go, whoop. So it's not as big as our captain's. And it definitely wouldn't have anything fancy like a feather or gold braiding on. There we go. So this would keep the sun off his head. And these bandanas were good for keeping the sun off your neck and things like that. So if you wanted to make that into a bandana as well, we could either have his neck showing or it could be like that. Okay, so that was easy, wasn't it? Now, if you wanted to do a sort of plait, because they used to wear plaits in the old days, boys as well, you can do a little plait. Now, all I did there, I'll do it again, I just did a W and a bow, like that. Okay, remember you can always pause or rewind. Now, I am going to turn this into a girl character, just because we're doing quite a lot of boy characters in this. So we're going to just put some skinny legs coming down and some feet. So I'm doing like an easy version for you. We're not giving them a wooden leg because we want them to be just like a young character. And in real life, if you were a sailor and you got a wooden leg, you pretty much didn't work again, or you would work in the kitchen underneath. And that was called peggy duty. So my character could have shoes on, he could have bare feet, but we've started with shoes now. So we're just going to put some little boots on like that. And he probably wouldn't have buckles if he was just a cabin boy. Now you can just do trousers, you could do some raggy sorts of shorts there, and again you can always put a bit of colour on there. Now I've got this like grotty brown colour here, and I'm just going to put some sort of darkish trousers on there, and you might even want to put some black shoes on or something like that. There we go. So he has got, or she has got, some little shoes. Now if I was going to colour a bit of this in, I might give them a fleshy colour here. Okay, you could always keep your picture black and white if you wanted to do like an olden days picture. And this would probably be like a wooden sort of handle. Wouldn't be like a fancy one, but he might or she might have just found it in the treasure. So I'm going to move my board down. Apologies if you couldn't quite see that foot before. I'm going to put some shadow under here like that. Now I love pirates. I think they're so interesting to draw. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking for little things that I might want to add like that. And I think that looks quite nice. So I'm going to put some sort of sandy yellow like this. Okay, now we're going to draw some treasure. And I'm going to show you how to do some really easy peasy treasure. And on those sheets, we have got how to draw sort of 3D trunks. Okay, so a chest. And you would have a little bit there. You would have a little handle there. Now you've got to imagine the lid will be over the other side. And then all you're going to do is put loads of jewels, fancy necklaces, all spilling out like that. You could also do a fancy crown. So this is like Treasure Island, isn't it? So you could do rubies, emeralds, a lovely green emerald here. La 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 la. And I've got my grotty brown again, look. This would be made of wood. Now, this would be some find, wouldn't it? And the pirates were really naughty. They used to pull over naval ships and they would take all their money and all of their finest clothes. That's why the captains always have fancy clothes. Captains of a ship. Okay, so we're going to make it look like her arm is moving. I'm going to go round this a little bit like that. Okay, so if you wanted to, in the background, should we try and draw a boat? Now, have you got space up here? Okay, so I'm going to move my board. Can you see here? It's a tiny bit of space at the top here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a blue wavy line. You could do this with your pencil. And I'm just in the distance going to try and do a boat. So I'm going to come round and round, a bit like that hat. Okay, can you see that? I'm so worried, it's so small. We're going to come along, down and up. And again, it does not look like a boat until you start adding bits. Now I'm going to put a little pointy bit here. And I'm going to draw a bit coming up here. Now if you've ever seen a proper boat, you will know it's got cannons poking out. But this is just a very quick picture of a boat. And they have so many sails. When I did my Jack Crawford book, I had to do proper research about where all the sails went. You could do some rigging. You don't really have to put that much detail on, but we know it's a pirate boat if we put a big skull and crossbones there, or if we put our red stripes on. Okay, now that was a little bit hard. I did go a bit fast And over here, if you wanted to draw a little mermaid looking, oh, she could be here. So if you wanted to draw some water here, and I'm going to do a tiny mermaid. And I want it to look gorgeous, so she's not going to be a grotty mermaid, because some mermaids aren't very nice, and they were called sirens, and they used to lure sailors into their death. So we're going to do a little tiny nose. We're going to draw a smile. It's a very similar face to this one, but this time the eyes are going to look like really smiley eyes. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do a mermaid, you do not have to do this. I've got lovely eyelashes, and this could be a lovely story about a mermaid who helps a young cabin child. Okay, so maybe there's a horrible pirate who wants all the treasure for himself, and she helps the pirate child, okay, to escape with the treasure. Okay, so we need a colour. So I've got a lovely red here, just to keep in line with this. Look, I'm doing some beautiful waves, a bit like Ariel. You can do whatever colour you like, okay? And if you wanted to put a little shell in her hair, or a starfish. Now, if you can't draw a starfish, just do a shell like that, or some little pearls or something like that to suggest that she is a mermaid. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of green on there like that. So there's our little mermaid here. What else? We could also do a shark. Maybe the bad pirate falls in, gets gobbled up by sharks. So we have got a lot going on. In fact, I think I'm going to show you how to do a tree. So this is like a sort of bay, and the sandy part goes all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to draw a skinny tree, and this would be our sort of tropical palm tree or coconut, a bit like the background I showed you before. And this is how an illustrator builds a story. We put things on our character, we put clothes on, we put a face on, we put a background on, we put details. Is this at night time? Is it in the daytime? Okay, and the last thing an illustrator does, we put our speech bubbles on here. So mine's going to be going, yar. If it was a slightly confident character, you might want to put a naughty eyebrow on, but I'm definitely going to put my name on, because you should always sign your work. And I'm going to show you how to give them different faces. Okay, so if she was a little bit shocked, like, oh, treasure. If she was sad, she would have a sad face. So the big nasty pirate's going to come and take all the treasure off her. If she's a bit seasick, I've been a bit seasick before. If it was a lady, she'd have lovely lips like that. If it was someone going, ah! So your eyes really matter. And if we had a naughty character, it's like I've got wart on it either. Dun, da, da, da. So these are the eyebrows we're definitely going to do for our next pirate. We're just going to do a big face for that one. Okay, so that was quite a tricky picture to do. You can see it's looking quite good, but we started with our very simple potato. Okay, how did you do? Is it easy, hard, or okay? So we've done a nice one. It's now time to do a nasty one. Now, I don't think there is a nastier pirate than Captain Cutthroat here. Can you see? He's a typical one-eyed, one-legged kind of pirate. And this was in my Space Cafe book with Conrad Burdekin, and he wrote a lovely, horrible poem. Captain Cutthroat sails the seas, filthy beard full of fleas, mouth a wicked, evil sneer, He's the pirate people fear. So we're going to do a horrible one. This is a very, very typical sort of pirate that I've drawn before. We're going to have a little go at drawing one with a sort of rectangle-y square. So we're just going to have a look at his face. We're going to make sure we've got enough room up here for his hat, like a big hat. And he's going to be holding, I think we might do him holding a treasure map or a wanted sign or something. So with my squarey rectangle, first thing we're going to do is pop those ears on. So we can give him some big ears. Doesn't matter if you do a big ear and a little ear. These are cartoony drawings. So he is going to have, I think we're going to give him a big schnoz. There we go. Oh, and look, he's been on the run. He's got rosy cheeks. And I'm going to put a bit of a red nose on him. Now we want to make him look horrible. And I'm going to give him a mouth like that fish shape. So this carrot shape is really good for putting loads of horrible different shape teeth in. Yes, you guessed it. I'm going to give him a yellowy tooth. Now it could be a gold tooth, but I'm going to give him a yellowy tooth. And he has got yellowy gold earrings. And when you come to colour yours in later on, you could always pause the video and have a look at the photograph at the end. Okay, so there he is. So we need to put his beard on if you want a beard. Have you ever tried to draw an eye patch before and you end up with one eye down here? A good tip for you, we're going to do a big eye. I'm just going to draw out where the other eye would be. So this eye is going down there. Now he looks a little bit shocked, doesn't he? Okay, he looks a little bit shocked. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is draw a line coming under his hat. And we're going to draw around that eye, and that is where our eye patch is. So very quickly, I'm going to colour this in with my pen. Now you could do this later on with your crayon or your felt tip, or your pencil crayon, or you could pause the video and do it now. Okay, so there's our eye. Now we want him to have a nasty scar, so we're going to do a scar here. He's had a few sword fights over the years, and again, he doesn't look very scary, does he? So we're going to put an eyebrow on. Oh my word. So go over that a few times with your crayon. Now look, I'm getting my crayon out here because I also want to do some shadow. It looks like he hasn't had a lot of sleep, but we wanted to make him look a little bit older as well. So you could always put a bit of shadow around here. Now he looks terrifying already, doesn't he? And we want to put a hat on. So I'm going to move my board up a little bit. And it's coming right round here. So it's a really exaggerated hat. And I think these are one of the trickiest hats to draw. And I draw all sorts of workshops. I do Henry VIII's little hats. I do witches' hats. I do all sorts of hats. Top hats, Victorians. Oh, they're all really tricky. Now, in here, we want to do a really easy peasy lemon squeezy skull and crossbones. And skulls and crossbones, if I show you on here, I sometimes start with a light bulb and then I put the jawbone on, and then I do an upside down love heart. Okay, now I think that is quite tricky to draw. If you look at those sheets that are downloadable, there's loads of advice on drawing them. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bone like that. A lot easier than doing a full skull, isn't it? And if I was doing a cat pirate, I would do a fish bone on there or something similar. So while you're drawing that, I'm just going to put a little bit of my crayon on here. Like that. There we go. So not my best colouring, but I'm also going to put a feather. And your feather can be any colour you like. He's probably plucked it out of his parrot's bum. Poor parrot. Now, what colour beard do you want to do? Is he going to be Barry Blackbeard, Benny Bluebeard? He could be Stinky Sid. He could have any name. I think I'm going to get this nice turquoisey blue because look, it's a lot more interesting than just doing a black beard, isn't it? You can do a black beard if you don't have colours. You don't need to have fancy colours to do a good job. Now that looks a little bit boring. So I'm going to come longer. And beards are quite tricky to draw. I always draw a little bit around there. Then I go around underneath that schnozzy nose. And it doesn't matter if it's not central. We're doing cartoons, remember? Like that. La la la! Now with your pencil, what you're going to do is draw very lightly a piece of paper like that. Okay, I'm going to move my board down. We're going to draw 4 big fingers like sausages. Either side. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put fingernails on them. Like that. And wrinkles. Now we can't see rings because it's the front of his knuckles. So we can't see them on there. But he would have fancy rings, wouldn't he? Because he is the boss. Now, to make it look like a curled up piece of paper, look, I'm going around here. So I'll do that again. I'm going to come round here like that. So that now looks like a sort of wibbly wobbly scrolled bit of paper, doesn't it? Doesn't matter if your beard goes behind. Again, there's no right or wrong way of doing art or cartoons. If you want to put the odd little rip in your paper, you can think of his name. You could put your name on. You could put warning, keep out, and put it on your bedroom door. We're going to put some big shoulders on now. This is quite a good way of doing. You could do Frankenstein's monster, but look, he's going to have fancy jacket on with gold braiding. Look, he's got like tassely things on. So he's obviously nicked this from the admiral of a fleet of British ships. So there we have a fancy jacket. And if you don't want to do a black jacket, you could always do that lovely piratey red. And you can see I have got my colour on its side and I am doing a really fast job. Now you can spend all day doing your beautiful picture if you like. And I might even put some coily bits on here to make it look fancy. And if you want to give him some more sort of manky teeth in there, disgusting. And I'm going to come around here. Now, if you wanted to go around that with a pen, you can do. Now, I'm going to write wanted, but I'm going to do it in sort of fancy writing. Now, that doesn't look very fancy until I do a swirl. And I might even get my red and put 1,000 doubloons. Now, doubloons are like an old type of coin. So he is worth 1,000 doubloons. And look at the state of him. He is terrifying. Okay, so how did you do with that mingy, horrible, manky, evil pirate? I think that was probably the hardest. And then again, the good pirate was quite tricky as well. So we have got our character here. And if you wanted to do him again with a parrot, there he is. He's looking quite friendly, that one, isn't he? So he's definitely not Captain Cutthroat. Okay, how did you do? Okay, now there were some tricky things to draw in our tutorial today. Here's my rat, my pirate. I think you've probably done really, really well. If you have someone in your house that you think would like to do drawing like that, you could show them, couldn't you, how to draw. And you could rewind this tutorial because that's the beauty of drawing on tape. You can rewind it and watch it as many times as you like. And remember, Whitby Library and Scarborough Library, they're all coming together for our Fish and Chips Festival. So there's plenty on virtually this year. Fingers crossed we'll be all back to normal next year. My ratty's off to eat some nibbly crackers. I have had a wonderful time drawing for you today. I hope you managed to download your fantastic drawing sheet. So we've got ones like this with, oh look, ho har, create your scurvy crew. And there's also ones like this as well. So I'm also going to put my mermaid on there as well for you gorgeous girls out there, because I know I'm a fan of mermaids, but they are quite tricky to draw. So girls and boys, mums and dad, old people, young people, dogs and cats, rats, pirates, thank you so much for joining me today in our piratey fish and chipsy draw along, and have a wonderful day. Thank you, girls and boys. Bye.